codependence versus interdependence. So a lot of people tend to think that to get out of codependence, you need to be hyper independent now and be kind of cold and not relate well and, become a me, which is sliding more towards narcissism. And I don't mean narcissism in the West toxic state. I just mean in the me. You don't want to go there either. You want to get into a happy middle that is known as interdependence, where the reason you are in a relationship and the reason you want to be in a healthy relationship is because there's an interdependence. You are in a relationship for a reason. You are social, you love the person, they love you, you're doing life together, and it is important to be together in a true sense. Obviously not in a codependent way where, we are sad because one is sad. We are unhappy because one is unhappy. Where the one person who is kind of sick and who is not self-aware and who's deeply, deeply wounded is the one who's running the relationship. And where now the codependent one, you're busy managing all that. So once you've now see that, oh, I have been in codependent relationships, and then for you to then get into an interdependent relationship, you don't obviously jump from codependent to interdependent. There is a lot of work that you need to do. You want to go to that mirror. You want to find that life coach or a therapist or a sangoma or whoever that can help you deal with what made you codependent in the first place, deal with the inner child issues, deal with the inner teen issues, deal with your mother wound, deal with your father wound, deal with whatever it is that made you so codependent, that made you want to be needed to a point of self-abandonment. You abandon yourself right there, and then you go around looking for someone to love you, and you then do it the other way around in a codependent way. I mean, codependence is just some other weirdness, okay? So how do you then get into interdependent? First, you get in by healing. You need to deal with your issues of codependency, like I said. So now let's say you are on the other side. You understand your triggers, you understand why you got into codependency. You can see a codependent type of vibe coming from far. You are at that stage. What does interdependent then means? How do you work? How do you move in an interdependent relationship? And so let us put on classes and look at the notes and then take it from there. So there are three things that you want to understand when you are in an interdependent relationship, right? So the first thing is emotional autonomy. So you're going to own your own emotions. You're going to own your own moods, your own emotions, your own feelings. You're going to own them and honor them, which means you are going to have to learn to be okay, even if the other partner is not. That doesn't make you necessarily cold. It just makes you self-regulate. So let's say, for an example, let's use those examples we used in the other video. Your partner walks in and you can see they're in a foul mood. And you were probably doing something. Maybe you were reading, maybe you were watching a series or something, and you were relatively okay. You were in your center, you've just eaten, you are full, you are hydrated, you are moisturized. There is no problem. The codependent scenario would have made you suddenly stand up, and because you're detecting that the mood is weird, you're going to do something to fix him. Okay, so in an interdependent, you notice that, oh, okay, he's offish. And then you watch yourself, you recognize that, okay, I'm noticing that he's not himself. I'm going to take a breath and I'm going to continue watching what I'm watching, and I'm going to allow him or her to speak about whatever it is that they're feeling, to say, hey, babe, can we talk? Hey, something happened at work. Or, I'm going to allow him space. And if he doesn't, and because you are in a relationship and you are regulated, you do care, you are an independent, you are not taking over the emotions, you are not taking over the situation, you are not cleaning it up, you can go, you do go to him and say, you look a bit off, is everything okay? If they say, yeah, Kisha, you do not probe further. You're like, okay, you look off, but it's okay. And you carry on with your life. If the other person is also interdependent and they own their space, they own their feelings, when they are ready to talk, they're going to come and talk. They're not going to guilt trip you. They're not going to make you feel weird. They're not going to drag you with them into their feelings. In fact, if you have healed, when you have done the work, You would never attract someone who will then drag you like that. They will come and say, yeah, man, it's just this thing at work. There's this project that's just getting to me, or we had a heated meeting with a colleague, or I'm tired, or whatever the case is. And then it's resolved. It's done. You don't take over. You don't create a nice meal. You don't buy them anything. You do not overfunction because someone's in a bad mood. Are you with me? So that's the one. That's pillar one, emotional autonomy. Number two, because number two is about vulnerability, conscious vulnerability. Because you now do not need to be needed, you now understand what your needs are, your real needs are. And you are able to ask for what you need without guilt tripping, without hinting. You don't hint, and you don't make someone guess what your need is. You don't overdo things so that they love you, they need you. You are able to speak clearly, unambiguously, to say, hey, you know what, can we spend some time this weekend? We've been busy. I've been running around, you've been running around. Can we spend some time together this weekend and just, be in each other's company? Would you have time? And obviously, your partner too would say, yeah, okay, I would have time, but can it be Saturday, Sunday, this and this, whatever? But the point that I'm trying to make is that you are able to speak clearly. There is so much power in clarity, guys. There is so much power in clearly stating what your needs are. Clearly, it is clean, it is drama free, it is kind. Dr. Brene Brown always says that clarity is kindness. When you are clear, when you are not making anyone guess, when you are not gaslighting someone, making them seem crazy, when you are not playing mind games and making them guess where you are at, you are at your most loving. You are at your most loving. And I don't care whether it is a romantic relationship or it's work or it's friendship or it's parent child. You are at your most loving. You are at your most matured. You are at your most adult self. And relationships that are at that level are the most genuinely loving. And it's easy to be vulnerable with someone who's clear, isn't it? It is easy to be vulnerable with someone who's so self-aware, so self-conscious that they can just state clearly what they need. And equally, when you don't know what you need, you can also say that, I'm not sure what I need right now, but I feel, and you name a feeling. I feel exhausted. I feel drained. I feel depleted. I feel this. I feel that, but I'm not sure what I need right now. Give me a moment. You know what I'm saying? So the healthy relationship, interdependent relationship is asking us to absolutely grow up. I nearly said F and grow up, but to absolutely, absolutely grow up. Okay, so that's two. Number three is going to seem cliche and obvious. It's about no. It's about saying no. Oh my God, I've just turned 50 and I've just discovered my no. All along, I used to think that I do say no, but hey, I actually now know that I can say no. But you discover your no, and you do know now that I'm no longer just talking about romantic relationships, right? I'm talking across the board. When you are in an interdependent relationship with your friends, with your partner, with your children, with whoever that matters to you, your no does not break the friendship. Your no does not break any bonds. If anything, your no builds a strong trust. In a paradoxical way, when your friend who you are in an interdependent relationship with says no, it actually, I don't know, it lands well because you know that their yes is really, really a genuine yes. Unlike the people pleasing, codependent friend who is constantly saying yes, 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 yes. Even when they say no, it sounds weird. They don't even know how to say no, they cut. Go back and watch my video on cutting people off is not a boundary. It's actually a sign that you have no boundaries. So you get in touch with your no, and your no come from a very good place. It's like, no, I can't do that. No, I'm unable to do this right now. No, my time is so tight. No, I have a project that I'm dedicating this amount of time to. I won't be able to do that. Even if I want to, I won't be able to do that. And then no, I ain't a sting, I can't. It's not that no of that codependent person that is hurtful, that is weird, that is resentful. There's a no that feels like it's kind. This no is it's a good no. And then there's that no that feels like, hi, why? Because that no is full of step, it's full of the tiba, because you've been saying yes to nonsense for the longest time. So when you say no, it's full of that heaviness and that resentfulness, you know. So yeah, you get to say no, we can't do this now, we can do it the other time, and everybody's happy. And then when you say yes, it is unambiguous. You know, it's a yes that you know for a person is going to give their all to. Okay, so those are just the three pillars of an interdependent relationship. Obviously, there's more, but for the sake of the video, I just think I'm gonna pause it here and we can continue with other topics and other themes in the next video. I'll see you soon, and this is my story. I cannot wait to hear yours.